Well, hello and welcome to another trading recap video. Today was quite a day, man. It's August 18th. We had quite a few things moving. This was one, Neptune, what I've got up on the screen right now. This one just had some news break about half hour ago, 40 minutes ago at this point, that their sales were up, that they beat Walmart's expectations on their sales by 150%. And that was the news, and now this thing went from flat on the day to up 126%. So we've had some pretty great surprise momentum. But mainly what I traded was drug, DRUG. And this stock, man, this one was really tough. I mean, you can look at it really quickly and you can see we've got some pretty nasty topping red wicks, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Yeah, I got caught up in a couple of these. So yeah, first trade of the day was actually, I wasn't even looking at it because there was news that broke here. I can't even honestly remember what the news was. But yeah, it broke here, and then it was halted up at about or $1.48. Meanwhile, I'm over here looking at Sava. So this was the other one that was up this morning. I took one little trade on it. It was kind of a break even. The more expensive stocks, I don't really care for trading as much. But yeah, so looking back at drug. So yeah, on this one, it was halted up here. And at this point, it was so low volume that I was so skeptical at it. And then when it resumed, it resumed and there wasn't even any selling. It was just, it got bought up right away. Chopped a little bit here and then locked up in a halt at 230. So now we're up from halted at about $1.50, and now it's halted at 236. So I'm thinking to myself, wow, this thing's strong. The news is pretty good, and I was really interested in getting involved after this halt. So I was looking for the kind of the standard bullish, where it opens high and you get the dip and the rip. And so that's what I was looking for on it. So it came out of the halt right here. It opens higher, halts at 36, opens at 46. It dips down to about 35, and that's where I got in, and it looked like it was going to give a little push, but then flushed down here to 20, and I ended up selling for about 100 because I think I took 1,000 shares on it, so it was 15 cents. So I took $150 loss straight out the gates, and only for this thing to come right back up. And yeah, granted, it was a little choppy, so I wasn't beating myself up over it. It was a really tricky trade. And then yeah, I was down. So I'm starting the day down 150 already. It's not great. Obviously, it's nice to start with the green trade. And then INDO started moving. This one started moving pretty nicely. The float's a little bit lower. Volume was a little bit lighter, but it really started to pick up here. You can see on this candle, 5-minute candle, we ended up having 2.7 million shares of volume. So that's plenty. That's great. And I ended up getting green on it. I took a couple of trades here. I tried taking this breakout here. It was a small little breakout, or a small little, basically break even. But then I got in on this area right here, and that ended up being a very nice trade on this push here. So from that, I got myself from red to, I think I was green like 30 or 40 bucks on the day. So pretty much flat at that point. So yeah, I was feeling good. And then drug starts moving again. So I was involved with it through this consolidation here, and I missed this breakout. This was a really nice resolution to this little consolidation here. And then the false breakout. So, you know what? Actually, it wasn't this one. This one I avoided. So when this popped up here, I ended up taking a couple trades in this section, and I got out. I took a couple green trades. So at this point, I think I was up like 70 or 80 on the day. And then it pulled back here. And then when it popped up back of a VWAP, I was really interested in it here. So I was watching over these levels. We had a lot of resistance between 45 and 50. Then obviously we have this topping tail here on this candle at, what's the high there? At 72. So I'm watching it here. This candle breaks really nicely when this pops up. It pops up, breaks past the high, pulls back, but it wasn't sketchy like a false breakout. It didn't look like there was tons of sales coming through. It pulls back. And this is a trade that I've taken plenty of times for the retest of the high. I got in here at about 60s. And then, yeah, ended up being a false breakout. I sold down here for, let's look at 20-cent loss. And now there it goes, another 200. And and I'm back down 150 on the day. And I'm like, man, it's been tough. I ended up pretty much leaving it alone here because I was getting really tricky. I was getting really bad fills on it. I was getting caught in these topping wicks. I'm just like, man, I'm just not having a good time on this stock. So all in all, I think I finished the day right on the stock. Well, I know I finished the day right on the stock. But then Neptune, like I was talking about earlier, was the one that ended up giving some really nice opportunities. So straight away, this is where the news broke, and it halted up here at $2.09. So again, looking for the dip and rip. And this to me was enough convincing volume where when it's super light volume, I don't like to get involved with the halts. But in this case, the volume looked strong enough to me. And it was the same kind of a case where it opened, it dipped, I got in, and then it dipped more. But in this case, I held, which was a little bit risky, a little bit uncomfortable, but I think it was the right move considering how strong the stock was and what the patterns has been like on the halts. So yeah, I ended up holding through this pullback, and then I sold for a pretty decent win here. It was 110 or 111 to 23, so that was 20 cents. And I'm taking 900 shares on it. Yeah, and through this area, I took a few trades to get myself back positive 128. So I closed the day. I'm wrapping it up here at positive $1.28 and 30 cents in the green. So all in all, good trade. One thing I really wanted to do is go back and review a couple of the trades I took on drug because those false breakouts are tough to avoid. I've done a pretty good job avoiding them as of the last week or two, but I want to see if there's any signs that I can look for in the level 2 or something to give me a little bit more of an inkling that that's going to happen. And the other thing that I would like to work on is stocks like in this section where it's moving from 250s to through 25. Man, this section it was just kind of going up and away, and a lot of times those are tricky for me to be buying at very tops of candles. Like the break of 3, that was really strong right here, but I mean I'm buying the very top of a candle, so that's just something that I'm gonna have to get more comfortable with, but. Yeah, all in all, left a little bit on the table. A little disappointed with drug, but end of the day plus 128. So green is great, and I hope everyone did well. I'll be back tomorrow with another recap video.